I would like now to hear Aldo, because he moved from Peru and I bet he misses the ceviche that is so amazing, and these beautiful mountains of Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu and the Incas, which I love the culture of Peru.
Thank you so much, Eloisa. Thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. Actually, it has helped me, step aside and look back and analyze and reflect upon my experience, my international experience, and what has worked, what hasn't worked. So this is a great opportunity. I am delighted. So, as I told you all before, I'm Peruvian. Um, I moved out of Peru at age around 28 when I went to study my MBA in New York University. I stayed there for 2 years, and mainly onwards, I have been moving to several countries, including Mexico, Colombia, Madrid, and Spain, London, and finally to Stockholm, to Sweden, mainly working for the cosmetic industry in different cosmetic oriented companies in different roles, in marketing roles, business development, either local or corporate, as well as strategy, entrepreneurship within the company, etc. Finally, after moving from Stockholm into my new role, which is the role I hold right now, which is innovation manager at Innovation Skåne, which is the innovation office of the region of Skåne, and work in a project called HealthTech Nordic, which puts together a community of startups within the health tech sector and helps develop the industry and help the companies, the more than 200 members, thrive within the Nordics, but also internationally. And after this, one of the things that really has, I think, triggered me to want to explore different parts of the world and look for the opportunities and go after them, to explore different settings, is it's always important to have something that connects you to that next challenge. Whether it's regarding whether it's a personal challenge or it's a work challenge. And I give an example. For instance, when I moved from New York to Mexico, it was the size of the challenge I had in Mexico because of the job I got there as a marketing manager for Mexico. It was a local position, but also because I had a huge network of friends that I made while I was living in New York. So those were the two things where I helped myself to give that next step. And it's something I really recommend to everyone. Whenever you're looking for that, to move abroad, you have to look for those couple of sparks that really make you feel that the experience will be worthwhile, and try to follow those. Of course, always analyze and reassess while you are living in that place, but there has to be something that really drives you. In case of Sweden, it was really, first it was a greater job opportunity to work within the cosmetic sector, but also it was my extreme curiosity for the Nordic culture. That also took me to New York or to Hong Kong, for instance. There were places that when I visited them at one time, I said, I have to live here before I die. So it's these small sparks that will probably make the experience a bit better for you, and what are you thriving for? So that's always in place. And to bring that learning back to what I do now, for instance, I made a career switch. Not necessarily in the things I do, because I work a lot with business development and with marketing, but in the industry. I moved from cosmetics, from selling lipsticks, to selling and help health tech solutions try to thrive around the world. And one of the things that really caught my attention to really make that drastic change was two things, for instance. And to move down to Malmö, to southern Sweden, was two things. One was I felt very curious about this thriving industry. That drew me a lot to it because it was thriving. And so I said, there is a lot of excitement here, a lot of adrenaline here. And the other one was going back to your roots and saying, there is a huge chance to help countries like Peru or Brazil in Latin America or Indonesia, or countries that are in similar positions with these new solutions. And there's a chance to really make a big difference. So that was what drove me to this new challenge, I would say. Thing to reflect upon before moving is never change more than a couple of variables when you move to a new place. And when I mean variables, I mean, if you are immigrating to a new place, or a new location, and such a different place like Sweden, for instance, try not to change other things. Remain in the same industry in your job. Maybe come with your family, of course. So try to keep certain things static and then change others. One of them is location. In my experience in Sweden, for instance, when I switched careers and switched jobs, which were diametrically different. So I didn't change location because I was still in Sweden, but I changed careers. I think my experience wouldn't have been so good, and it would have been quite painful if I had changed careers, location, and other things. No? So try to keep some variables and ceteris paribus, no, like static. And I think the experience will probably be a much better, and you will be able to enjoy it more space to learn. First of all, decide early on whether it's a place you would really like to live long term, or you think it is just a phase in your life. Having that decision in your mind, of course, it will change over time. It's not static, but having that state of mind will help you enjoy whatever you are thriving for in that new place. Because you won't be having that melancholia or melancholy of the past place. No, everything in Peru was better, or everything in Mexico was better. No. Start from scratch and say, okay, is this going to be a small phase or not? That will let you enjoy the experience so much better. Build your network very early on, because it will come to your help when you less imagine it. And I can only speak from my experience. My move from one place to the other was quite swift, in the sense that it was basically for work, and I got hired and I got moved, and everything was in one way or another set. They helped me install, etc., etc. But that would not always solve the obstacles you find when you are in a new place. And there is when your network comes to help. Sweden is a quite easy country to install yourself, because things work and systems work, and you have to rely on systems. And that's a good learning, because coming from developing countries, you're always on the get-go that something is not going to work out well, and you have to try to adapt and de-stress on that, because things will work out. However, even though I've been set up with an amazing medical insurance, or a good tie-up with a national healthcare system, like here in Sweden, whenever I've had a health issue, I've never known how to act upon it, because nobody gives you an instruction manual, and there is when your network comes to help. So I think tools like GlobePerson or Globe System could be really helpful for people that move around the world, because it could potentially and really make life much easier, much more in the moments in which you really feel sick. And it did not only happen to me in a country so different as Sweden. It happened to me in Mexico. It happened to me in Colombia, that I thought I was going to die and didn't know what to do with my insurance card. I had no idea, because the need for health will come whenever you least expect it. Then the fifth thing is try to always have that open mind and be willing to reinvent yourself, because these experiences in different countries are going to change you. They won't change your essence, but they are going to change you somewhat. And be open that you're going to be a bit of a different person when that experience ends. So be open to that. Be open that I am going to be a bit more Swedish than I was before moving to Sweden, and I have that in my back as an asset. I'm going to be a bit more Mexican. And just to give you a bit of the experiences I had is, for instance, trying to learn that in Sweden or in Swedish culture, you, whenever addressing a problem in the workplace, let's say, never come like a silver bullet with all this Latin energy and try to solve it. The Swedish culture doesn't like to be pressured. So you have to be able to learn those cues. And coming to that, or for instance, in Mexico, it is the other way around. You have to be full into the cultures, and you have to be friends of your colleagues and invite them to your house, because teams or work teams or colleagues won't follow you or won't work well with you if you haven't had a personal relation with them, because they don't commit to the company, they commit to you. If you're, for example, leading a team, when they trust you, then they follow you. It doesn't have to do with the objectives of, even if it's a huge corporation, they thrive because they are committed to you as a person. So there are different learnings and different cultures. With that comes my sixth point, which is adapt, then act. You first have to take it all in and really try to put yourself in their shoes and try to think like the culture you're getting into. For instance, one of the things that happened to me in Sweden was different from the Latin, of the Americas culture, more than the Latin Americans culture, and also the Spanish, is that if you're in a long meeting discussing and trying to find a solution for X thing, if it's necessary, you'll probably stay in that meeting for 4 hours until the solution comes and until the decision comes. Even if you're tired, even if you if your tiredness starts to bring some of your animal instinct, things can get really charged up, and you might end up saying things that you wouldn't like to say. One great thing, I at the beginning, I was super frustrated here because the meeting, whenever an issue got to another level, everyone's like, okay, fika, break, let's go and go for a walk, and then let's come back and try to solve the issue with, after breathing some air. At the beginning, it was super frustrating, but then I really got the essence of it, which is you can't make decisions when you are in a tired state, because you might make the wrong ones. And so those are the things that I will probably take if I ever move somewhere else. I will take that with me, and always try to think about the term, very used marketing term. It's anchor and twist. Act upon things that the culture understands, and then add your own essence to it. Do not come like a tornado and try to impose your ways. So, for instance, try to, whenever you're dealing with a problem, try to embrace the Swedish calmness. But then, if the problem not necessarily has solution, I, as a Latin American, have the tools to come up with ideas, because I know I have the experience of systems not working, for instance. And you always have other perspectives on how the solution could be. Then you bring your own culture and your own essence into place. So it's a bit of a dance between those two. And I think those things have made my experiences and my curiosity to explore the world a bit. Probably it comes from my immigrant parents, Venezuelan mother, Italian father, that has drawn me into it, but much more enjoyable and really satisfactory.